can you present yourself briefly and the project that you are building?
So I'm Radu. I'm a co-founder of Linx. We are building on Alephium. We are DeFi. We started as a DeFi project on Alephium. Actually, we started our journey like a couple of years ago. We started on a different chain. We built a wallet on that chain, which is also like a sharded chain. We wanted to solve the user experience problem, which I think we did in a really nice way. Users don't have to care about shards anymore, and they have like a neat experience for like sending tokens, which is what we want. We want to make everything easy. So we switched over to Alephium recently. We started with a platform that we call Linx OTC. Users can swap tokens with each other without a middleman. Alephium allows this. It's a unique feature. You can essentially do an OTC trade without having to have an escrow, which I think it's quite amazing. Next on our list is a peer-to-peer lending platform. We have simplified lending to the bare minimum, meaning you can choose the duration of the loan, collateral you want to accept as a lender, the interest that you wanna earn from that loan, and that's it basically. So as simple as possible.
Okay, interesting. So it's more the Aave type than the MakerDAO type, right?
It's not the Aave type. Aave uses a model where users pool funds, while in our case it's more of a marketplace if you want. So it's like literally peer-to-peer, without having a pool of funds where you can borrow from or where you can deposit collateral. So
the risk is completely segregated from one person to the next.
That's right. Yeah. So each loan, it's by its own. Yeah.
Does it have to do anything with the fact that the UTX are based and that there's atomicity involved in Alephium, like you're leveraging it for the OTC product?
We do leverage that on the swaps, but for the lending part, no, we don't leverage that.
So on the lending protocol, for example, if I am a lender and then I said, okay, I have 100,000 USD to lend.
Yeah.
Can a borrower take half of the loan, or it needs to take everything?
So in the initial version we are launching, it's going to be take everything. But what you just mentioned, I think it's really high on our feature list for the V2, because we've been talking to other people as well, trying to get feedback on this like first prototype, and having to take wanting to take like partial loans is like one of the things that people have mentioned before. So yeah, definitely top of the list there. So you can just borrow like half of it or as much as you want. Yeah.
That's cool. So you have already a roadmap. Can I ask you, so we have had an interview before. It was on a written form.
Yeah.
You can find it down below in the description link. But I want to ask you, since the hackathon, that's almost 6 months ago.
Yeah.
What do you see has changed already? Because we have implemented recently the Run upgrade, but it has been live for 2 months already, more or less, and tested.
Yeah.
So, what did you notice something in the way you're building?
Well, first of all, when we started building, we were amazed by how well put together the whole tooling is. What Alephium team managed to build is a set of tools that makes really super easy for any dev that comes from a different chain to get started on Alephium, and they have kept delivering essentially every day. Every day there's updates. Now with we'll release 1.0 of the SDK, which has been great from the start. Now it's already amazing. So it just keeps getting better and better. Literally getting better and better, which is amazing to see. And also rare to see. The how to put it, the consistency of of things being delivered is just it's great. Yeah.
That's cool. So, with the OTC launch on mainnet,
Yep.
for this product,
Yeah.
what are your next steps?
For ODC,
Yeah.
so right now we launched ODC on mainnet, but we only launched half of it, meaning the swaps. So the next step is to launch lending on mainnet. That's gonna be the second step, and that's gonna mean that we're gonna have our V1 of OTC launched on mainnet.
okay,
Yeah,
goes
all together. Yeah.
And what from the builder's side, and now you have a little bit of experience because people are using your product and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how do you see the evolution of the DeFi ecosystem? I guess you also have been able to talk with people here. You see that there's a competing protocols that are launching.
Yeah.
Like in the next 2 years, how do you see it evolve? Because you have spent some time on the chain
Yeah.
for a while, and you've
Yeah.
seen a whole cycle, let's say. And how do you see the cycle here, like from your eyes now?
Well, yeah, I was discussing with the guys earlier today, also yesterday, and I was telling people that what I would personally would love to see is a very tight community of builders that we sort of like work together, because we are still at the beginning, right? And we can afford that. Instead of just competing with each other, because that means that we will be able to build a set of core products that are solid, that are user friendly, and with that means that every new user that comes into the ecosystem is going to be able to get to know them easily. It's going to be onboarded easily, and that's what I want to see.
Okay, that's a great answer. So that leads to my last question. We always ask for feedback. So you've said what you think we're doing well, and that's very we love that. But also, what do you think we should improve? What's missing? What's lacking?
Wow, that's a tough one.
For example, for your latest point, this is the first meetup, so we try to bring everyone together. That's the first step of building synergies and working with each other.
Yeah.
But what else would provide more for you to build better, faster, stronger?
Yeah, that's definitely a tough one. So I think it's not necessarily about building faster or building better. I think just maybe focusing on building connections between builders in the community, trying to foster those connections and trying to pretty much put everyone in the same room.
So more hackathons,
Yeah.
meetups like this,
More hackathon, more meetups,
workshops.
anything that allows people to get to know each other, get to know what they are building. Get to know what everyone else is building, because then you're gonna see people building on top of each other, and you're gonna see products that are tied together, and it's all gonna feel like it's really well put together, and it's not just separate islands, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And in the end, it should be an amazing experience. Yeah.
Also, we have some people that have contributed to several projects, so that's also
Yeah.
a way to cross-pollinate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One of the earlier speakers. Yeah, he's been involved in a bunch of projects. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anything you would like to add, that you think is worthy of telling?
Go Alephium. That's all.
Yes. Go Alephium. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, guys.
A pleasure.